So we are on chapter number 5, the snake and the mirror. So what this chapter is about, as the chapter shows, this chapter is about the snake and the mirror, and about someone is writing something else in the chapter. Priyansh Nahata, why are you giving me a thumbs up in the chat room? Priyansh Nahata, why are you sending me a thumbs up in the chat room? When I have asked you, आपको thumbs up किधर से देना आपको पता नहीं है? चैट रूम का यूज तब तक कोई नहीं करेगा जब तक कि आपको कोई वॉइस में इश्यूज नहीं आ रहे हैं, ओके? अदरवाइज यू डोंट नीड टू यूज चैट रूम. इट इज वेरी डिस्टर्बिंग ड्यूरिंग द क्लास. Vishaka Tiwari saying my voice is not clear. Children, my voice is clearly audible or not audible? Is it clearly audible? Give me a thumbs up if the voice is clearly audible. If it is not, Vishaka, where are you? I'm not able to see you. Vishaka, is my voice audible to you now? Please turn on your cameras faster, everyone. Children, turn on your cameras faster. Everyone, Jatin Jain, Aman Lohar, Aryan, Rekha Kothari, Harshit, Vishakha, you have not turned on your cameras. Please turn on your cameras faster so that we can start the class. The class is getting late because of you people. Okay, let's begin. So this chapter is about a snake and a mirror. Okay, so the snake is looking into the mirror, and a person, a doctor, is standing nearby. So what will be your reaction? What will be your reaction if you have a snake nearby? आपके पास में कोई सांप हो, आप बहुत डर जाओगे, right? But what happens? आपको लगेगा कि शायद आपको ये सांप काटने वाला है, डसने वाला है. But what happens here is that the snake is looking into a mirror. The snake, instead of biting the doctor, the snake, instead of biting that person, he is looking into the mirror. So now the doctor is thinking that what this snake might be thinking. ये snake जो है इसको ऐसा क्या great दिख रहा है mirror के अंदर? You know, as a human being, you know that what is looking into the mirror. आपको mirror के अंदर क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? But you don't know what the snake is looking into the mirror. Snake को क्या दिखाई दे रहा है? Snake को कैसे दिखाई दे रहा है? You don't know about that. Okay. So this is a story of self-discovery. This is a humorous story. The whole story is a tale. The doctor is explaining the incident when he saw a snake and the snake was looking into the mirror. Okay, this story, the narrator of the story is a doctor. Okay, the narrator is a doctor, and he's very poor and very foolish and very stupid. He does very stupid things, very foolish man in a foolish manner he behaves, this doctor. Okay, and what we need to notice, very important, what we need to notice in this chapter is the humorously told tale. Okay, जो बहुत हंसी मजाक वाले तरीके से पूरी स्टोरी बताई गई है. Incident, the incident is very small. Okay, that the snake is looking into a mirror. This is the incident. This is the whole incident. But this incident is told in a very humorous manner. Okay, in a very humorous manner. थोड़े थोड़े जो humor के incidents हैं, that you have to notice in the tale. कि tale को किसी भी कहानी को बताने के क्या क्या तरीके होते हैं, that we are going to learn. How a tale can be told, how humorously a tale can be told, that you have to see while we are reading the chapter. Okay, and you have to take out कि humor के incidents क्या हैं, क्या क्या इसके अंदर chapter के अंदर जो humor वाले incidents क्या है, you have to note these out while reading the chapter. Okay, so this story is about a doctor who is the narrator of the story, and he starts telling that. Okay, let's start with the chapter. If the text, children, is not visible to you on the screen, if the text is not visible to you on the screen, you can take out your books and you can write it in your, you can look at the text in your books. Also, use the chat room only when the voice is not clearly audible. Otherwise, you don't need to use chat room to say good morning to me or to send some personal message to your colleagues. Okay, there's no need for chat room. We will use chat room only when the voice is not clearly audible or the text is not visible, then only. Okay. Okay, let's start the chapter. Has a snake ever coiled itself around any part of your body? a full-blooded cobra. So someone is telling that. See, inverted commas are written here. This sentence is written in inverted commas, right? So that means someone is saying that. Someone is telling that. What is someone saying? That क्या कभी आपने किसी सांप को देखा है जो आपके बॉडी के अराउंड लिपटा हुआ? How will you feel? A very, very live cobra. Full-blooded cobra means the live cobra. Cobra is like a huge, huge snake, na? So if a huge cobra, a live cobra, it is around your neck, it has coiled around your body, how will you feel? So all of us fell silent. So what is happening here? There's a doctor and he is telling the tale to others. Okay. So doctor is narrating his story and the others are listening. That is how the setup is. So now doctor is saying कि आपने कभी किसी कोबरा को देखा है आपकी बॉडी के अराउंड अगर कोबरा आ जाए आपको कैसा फील होगा? So all of us fell silent. Us here is the children, the people who are listening to the tale of the doctor. All of us fell silent. सारे लोग silent हो गए. The question came from the homeopath. So who is the homeopath here? Who is the doctor here? The doctor asked this question that have you ever seen a cobra around your body? So all the people who were listening to the question, they fell silent. The topic came up when we were discussing snakes. Okay, ये लोग ऐसे सांप की बातें कर रहे थे. They were discussing snakes. And okay, what happened? Anushka Dadish is saying, ma'am, Anushka Jawar calling to me, so please join her. Die to network, she was disconnected. What can I do here? So sorry. Anushka Dadish, yeah, what happened to you? Anushka Dadish, please raise your hand. If you have any issues, please raise your hand simply. Anushka Dadish, you are not here. Anushka Dadish, you are with. I'm unmuting you.
Ma'am, Anushka Jawar, she was calling to me. Please join her.
Who?
Anushka
Who is
Jawar.
calling you? Anushka Jawar is not visible to me on my screen. Anushka Jawar is not visible to me on my screen. कोई मुझे रिक्वेस्ट नहीं आया अनुष्का झवर से ज्वाइन करने के लिए. अभी मेरे सारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं. ओके, if she will be coming, I'll let her join. There's no request for her to join. Okay, children, let's start. If Anushka Jawar will come, I will let her join. I don't see the name of Anushka Jawar in my book. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so when this doctor and the narrators, they were discussing the snake, they were discussing the topic of snakes, and suddenly this doctor says that एक बार क्या हुआ मेरे पास मेरी body पे एक cobra था. So we listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. So now the doctor continued with his tale. The doctor is continuing with his tale. Gunidhi Soni is saying my voice is not clearly audible. Gunidhi, is my voice not clearly audible? Just raise your hand, Gunidhi. Gunidhi, just raise your hand. You're not visible to me, Gunidhi. Raise your hand. Gunidhi, you are not visible. Raise your hand. Gunidhi, raise your hand so that I can ask you what the problem is. Where are you? I'm not able to see it. Gunidhi, raise your hand so that I will unmute you, please. You're also not visible to me, Gunidhi. Anjali Vaishnav, Ansh Naraniwal, Nishant Soni, Ayan, Gunidhi. Please turn on your cameras. Your cameras are not turned on. Gunidhi, I'm unmuting you. Gunidhi, first just turn on your camera so that I can ask you what the problem you have. Gunidhi. You don't want to? Okay, then let it be. I will continue with my chapter. We listened attentively as the doctor continued with his tale. So now the doctor is explaining the story to the students and they are discussing it. Now the doctor is explaining to the story to the students. It was a hot summer night, about 10 o'clock. I had my meal at the restaurant and returned to my room. So now the doctor is explaining it was a hot summer night, 10 baj rahe the, and he had his meal at the restaurant. The doctor had his meal at the restaurant and returned to his room. And the doctor returned to his room. Children, is my voice clearly audible to you all? Is it the problem with Gunidi only, or all of you are not able to listen to my voice clearly? Children, give me a thumbs up if the voice is clearly audible to you. All of you give me a thumbs up and turn on your cameras, please. Ritika Dargar, Harshit Tiwari, Vishakha Tiwari, Jatin Jain, Amni Samdani, please turn on your cameras. I don't want to be the only one who is here with the cameras on, okay? Please turn on your cameras faster. Your attendance will not be marked until and unless your cameras are not on, okay? So that make it very, very clear that your cameras are turned on. Okay, who's raising his hand? Is there an issue with... Who was raising hand? Anushka, you were raising your hand. Your camera is not on, please. Yeah. Yes, Anushka, I'm unmuting you. No issues. Okay. Cool. Okay, let's start. So the doctor is explaining the story now that it was a hot summer night, 10 o'clock in the night, and the doctor had a dinner at a restaurant and he returned to the room. वो अपने कमरे में वापस आया. So it is a rented room. Rent का किराए का room है, and the doctor lives in that room. I heard a noise from above as I opened the door. As the doctor opened the door, he heard a noise from above. The noise was a very familiar one. So this noise was a very familiar one. Doctor को ये noise पता थी कि क्या थी. इसको एकदम से अचानक से कुछ नहीं सुनाई दिया. जो उसको noise सुनाई दी, वो उसको पता थी क्योंकि उसको ये noise बार-बार आती थी. So now what this noise was? One could say that the rats and I shared the room. आप कह सकते हो कि मैं और जो चूहे थे वो कमरा शेयर करते थे. So see, these are the incidents of humor which we are going to note in the story. Here, the narrator could also write that there were rats in the room, right? वो ऐसे भी लिख सकता था कि मेरे room में rats थे. But how he writes here? He writes that the rats and I shared the room. कि जो rats थे, जो चूहे थे, वो मेरे roommates थे. Okay, so this is how the humor is maintained in the story. This is how the humor is mentioned in the story. So keep noting down these incidents where the humor is mentioned, okay? So one incident is like this, that you could say that the rats and I shared the room. I took out my box of matches and lighted the kerosene lamp on the table. So what does the doctor do now? He took out a matchbox and he lighted the kerosene lamp. The house was not electrified. उस घर में बिजली नहीं थी. Okay, there was no electricity in the house. It was a small rented room. I had just set up the medical practice and my earnings were meager. So the doctor had just now started his practice. Doctor ने अभी थोड़े दिन पहले ही job शुरू किया था and उसकी earnings जो थी, उसकी salary जो थी वो बहुत कम थी. It was meager. Meager means very small. So his salary was meager, very low. I had about 60 rupees in my suitcase. The doctor was having 60 rupees in his suitcase, along with some shirts and dhotis. I also possessed one solitary black coat, which I was then wearing. So what else was doctor was having? He was having 60 rupees in his suitcase, and along with some shirts and dhotis, कुछ कपड़े थे उसके पास, he also possessed one solitary black coat. Solitary means इकलौता. Okay. उसके पास एक इकलौता black coat था जो उसने वो उस वक्त पहन रखा था. So in note this is also an incident of humor. How come this is an incident of humor which is mentioned in the story? Can anyone tell me, please? I'm asking you all. How come this line is an incident of humor? That I was possessing one solitary black coat which I was then wearing. Please tell me. I'm asking you all. Just raise your hand and tell me how this is an incident of humor. एक तो incident हुआ कि I was sharing the room with the rats. आप simply ये भी लिख सकते थे that the rats were there in my room. But you were saying the rats were my roommate. I was simply sharing the room with the rats. Similarly, this is also an incident of humor which says that I possessed one solitary black coat. मेरे पास एक इकलौता black coat था. आप कभी ऐसे बात करते हो अपने कपड़ों के लिए कि मेरे पास एक ही चीज इकलौती थी ना, नो राइट. सो यू आर सेइंग हियर मेरे पास एक इकलौता ब्लैक कोट था और वो भी मैंने तब पहन रखा था. ओके, are you getting it or not? These things of humor, are you getting or not it or not? एक आपके पास बात हुई रैट्स वाली. ओके, रैट्स जो थे वो मेरे रूममेट्स थे. और एक आपने बात की कि मेरे पास एक सॉलिटरी ब्लैक कोट था, एक इकलौता ब्लैक कोट था और वो भी मैंने पहन रखा था. ऐसे ऐसे छोटे छोटे इंसिडेंट्स बहुत सारे आएंगे ह्यूमर के अंदर, जो इस चैप्टर के अंदर ह्यूमर वाले, एंड यू हैव टू नोट देम आउट. ओके, I took off my black coat, white shirt and not so white vest and hung them up. मैंने क्या किया, अपना जो black coat निकाला, I took out the white shirt and not so white vest and hung them up. और बहुत ज्यादा सफेद vest मतलब बनियान, okay? And not so white vest, and hung them up. So now here note this now, not so white, okay? The vest is not so white. He could say it was a dirty vest. Okay, he could also say it was a dirty vest, but he's saying not so white vest. Okay, I will explain it to you later. I guess you are not getting it. The incidents of humor, I guess you're not getting it. I will explain to you all later. Okay, and hung them up. I opened the two windows in the room. So now the doctor is in the room. He opens the two windows of the room. It was an outer room with one wall facing the open yard. Okay, so now how he's explaining the setting of the room. It was an outer room and one wall was facing the open yard. एक side क्या था, पूरा balcony जैसा था, open yard it was. It had a tiled roof with long supporting gables that rested on the beam over the wall. Okay, gable is like this thing. Okay, so this gable rested upon the, ये दो poles हैं, दो खंबे हैं, और इनके ऊपर एक गैबल इज रेस्टिंग. जैसे जो आपका झोपड़ी के ऊपर वाला जो पार्ट होता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज गैबल. ओके, इसकी टाइल्ड रूफ थी. हिज रूम हैड अ टाइल्ड रूफ एंड लॉन्ग सपोर्टिंग गैबल्स दैट रेस्टेड ऑन द बीम ओवर द वॉल. देयर वाज नो सीलिंग, कोई सीलिंग थी ही नहीं, सीधा का सीधा ये गैबल था. देयर वाज नो सीलिंग, कोई छत नहीं थी उसके ऊपर. देयर वाज अ, okay, next page. There was a regular traffic of rats. There was a regular traffic of rats to and from the beam. और जो ये beam था, ये जो ऊपर गैबल था, इसके अंदर पूरे टाइम इसमें से regular rats निकलते रहते थे. Regular traffic of rats, he's saying. Okay, there was a regular traffic of rats in the room. There was a regular traffic of rats. I made my bed and pulled it close to the wall. So what did the doctor do now? He made his bed. उसने अपना बेड जमाया, बेडशीट बिछाई उसके ऊपर, and he pulled it close to the wall. I lay down, but I could not sleep. The doctor was laying down, but he could not sleep. I got up and went out to the veranda for a little air. So now, as he was not able to sleep, the doctor was not able to sleep, so he went out in the veranda. But the wind god seemed to have taken time off. लेकिन ऐसा लग रहा था कि जो wind god हैं, जो हवा के देवता हैं, उन्होंने अपना आज की छुट्टी ले रखी है. Now can you see the incidents of humor here? Can anyone explain to me the incidents of humor in these 4 lines or 5 lines? Can anyone explain to me? Please, anyone can explain me. This is a normal one. Or I'll ask, if you not raise your hands, if you'll not raise your hands, I will simply ask any of you. So those who are getting it, those who are normally getting it, can you explain me the incidents of humor? Humor का मतलब जो थोड़ा सी मजाकिया बातें की हैं इस चैप्टर के अंदर, वो मैं आप लोगों से ही पूछूंगी कि आपको थोड़ा सा हंसी मजाक वाली बातें कहाँ पर की हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, ये जो 4-5 लाइन्स हैं, इसमें कहाँ पर ह्यूमर एक्सप्लेन किया है? You tell me. Okay, Anushka is raising her hand. Anushka, I'm unmuting you.
The wind god seemed to have taken time off.
That I get. Okay, यहाँ पे लेकिन इसका मतलब क्या है? जैसे कि यहाँ पे वो ऐसा भी कह सकता था कि the wind was not blowing. Okay, he could write that the wind was not blowing. Yeah, but the writer here writes that कि ऐसा लगता था कि विंड गॉड ने आज का ऑफ ले रखा है, आज की छुट्टी ले रखी है. Okay, so that is one part of humor here. Another one, you tell me. There is one more in the in this paragraph. Another one, try, Anushka.
One wall
Okay.
facing a open yard.
No, so how is that a incident of humor? How is that an incident
Ma'am,
of humor?
ma'am, ye. I also possessed one solitary black coat, which was I then wearing.
Whoa, yeah, that we have discussed. And one more is the traffic of rats. There was a regular traffic of rats
Yes,
in
ma'am.
my room. The writer could write, the writer could write that there were rats in the room. कि मेरे room में बहुत सारे चूहे थे. But how the writer writes it here? There was a regular traffic of rats. कि मेरे कमरे में चूहों का traffic भरा हुआ था. Okay. Now I hope you are getting it that how this humor is immersed in the chapter. I hope you are getting it. Now I'll ask any of you when I see it. Okay. Let's continue. I went back into the room and sat down on the chair. So now what does the doctor do? He goes into the room and sat down on the chair. I opened the box beneath the table and took out a book. Okay, the Materia Medica. So now the doctor, he sat on the chair and he took out this book Materia Medica. Materia Medica, it is a book of homeopathy. Okay, so the doctor is a homeopath. We all know doctor is a homeopath. Homeopathic doctor है वो. और ये book पढ़ रहा है Materia Medica. I opened it at the table on which stood the lamp and a large mirror. Okay, so now the doctor keeps the book on the table, and on this table, what is there? A lamp is there, and a large mirror is there. A small comb lay beside the mirror, and there's a small comb beside the mirror. So see, all these things are very minutely explained. बहुत details में आपको explain किया गया है कि आपके दिमाग में एक image बन जाती है कि एक शीशा है, there is a large mirror, एक टेबल है, टेबल के ऊपर शीशा है, शीशे के पास एक लैंप है, लैंप के पास एक कंघा पड़ा है. So all this it forms an image in your mind. That is how you tell your tales. आप कहानी सुनाओ तो ऐसे सुनाओ कि आपके दिमाग में एक image बनती जाए उस पूरी कहानी की. Then the story feels interesting. Okay. One feels tempted to look into the mirror when it is near one. Okay, so now what is doctor's philosophy? Doctor की theory क्या है कि जब भी आपके पास मिरर होता है, आपके आसपास कहीं मिरर होता है, whenever there is a mirror nearby, you feel tempted to look into it. आपको उसमें देखने की इच्छा होती है. कभी मिरर होता है, कभी भी आपकी रिफ्लेक्शन जहां आपको दिख रही होती है, आप उसमें देखते हो, राइट? आपको एकदम से नहीं होता कि देख लें कि कैसे लग रहे हो, कैसे नहीं लग रहे हो, कैसे लग रहे हो, बाल ठीक है, ये सब आप देखने की कोशिश करते हो जब भी आपके सामने मिरर होता है. I took a look. So now similarly, doctor also looked into the mirror. In those days, I was a great admirer of beauty and I believed in making myself look handsome. So in those days, जब उन दिनों में, I was a great admirer of beauty कि मुझे beautiful चीजें बहुत पसंद थी and I believed in making myself look handsome and और मैं खुद को handsome रखने की कोशिश करता था. I was unmarried and I was a doctor. मैं unmarried था, एक doctor था. I felt I had to make my presence felt और मुझे लगता था कि मुझे मेरी presence felt feel करानी चाहिए. मतलब कि unmarried हूँ, उसके साथ कोई नहीं है, डॉक्टर है, पूरे टाइम पढ़ाई में बिजी रहता है, तो this his whole life is all about studying about doctor and doctors. Okay, so it feels like he himself is not existing. So similarly, the doctor says कि I had to felt my presence. I feel I had to make my presence felt. कि वो दिखने की कोशिश करता था, उसको लगता था कि वो handsome दिखेगा तो उसको लोग देखेंगे. I picked up the comb and ran it through my hair. So he picked up the comb lying near the mirror and he combed his hair and adjusted the parting so that it looked straight and neat. Okay, so उसने अपने बाल बनाए. Again, I heard that साउंड फ्रॉम अबव. फिर से उसको ऊपर से वो आवाज सुनाई दी. कौन सी आवाज? जो आवाज जो चूहे उसके रूम में पूरे टाइम जो रैट्स के ट्रैफिक की वजह से जो आवाज आती रहती है, he heard that sound. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. So now the doctor is explaining the details. Now doctor is explaining the thoughts which are coming to his mind when he is looking into the mirror. Okay, so the doctor is looking into the mirror and what thoughts are going through his mind, he is explaining that. I took a close look at my face in the mirror. I made an important decision. So मैंने एक बहुत important decision लिया. What was the decision? I would shave daily and grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. कि मैं रोज शेव करूंगा और एक छोटी सी मूछ उगाऊंगा. I will grow a mustache. Mustache is mooch. Okay. I will grow a thin mustache to look more handsome. ज्यादा हैंडसम दिखने के लिए मैं ऐसा करूंगा. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor. मैं एक बैचलर था, एक डॉक्टर था, तो मैं जैसा चाहूँ रह सकता था. एंड आई नीड टू लुक हैंडसम. उसने बोला कि अब हैंडसम दिखने की जरूरत क्यों है उसको, क्योंकि वो बैचलर है, वो डॉक्टर है, तो उसको हैंडसम दिखना पड़ेगा. ओके, सो वन मोर इंसिडेंट ऑफ humor is here. I made an important decision. When you say I made an important decision, that seems कि important decision related to life, important decision related to somebody else's life. आपको लगता है important decision किसी लाइफ से जुड़ा हुआ कोई important decision कि आज से मैं ऐसा करूंगा, आज से मैं ऐसा नहीं करूंगा. इसने एक important decision लिया. क्या लिया? रोज शेव करूंगा. So this is how sarcastically he is talking कि मैंने एक important decision क्या लिया कि आज से मैं रोज शेव करूंगा. Okay, so this is also an incident of humor here. I looked into the mirror and smiled. So now the doctor is looking into the mirror. He is smiling. It was an attractive smile. अब वो खुद की कोई बड़ा, अरे वाह क्या मस्त स्माइल है. ठीक है. He is looking into the mirror and he is saying it was an attractive smile. He अपनी ही खुद की स्माइल को कह रहा है बहुत attractive smile है. Are you getting it now? The incidents of humor, are you getting it now? कि खुद की स्माइल को बोल रहा है, वाह क्या मस्त स्माइल है. Do you say that? You don't, right? So this doctor is kind of a stupid, foolish, humorous person. Okay, मजाकिया है, थोड़ा सा stupid है. उसको लग रहा है कि यार मैं शेव करने से, मुंह चुकाने से मैं हैंडसम हो जाऊंगा. अरे वाह कितना अच्छा स्माइल है. He's talking to himself. He's talking to himself that I have an attractive smile. So that's how the doctor is simply foolish, simply humorous. It was an attractive smile. I made another earth-shaking decision. मैंने एक और दुनिया हिला देने वाला decision लिया. I made an earth-shaking decision. Earth-shaking is दुनिया हिला देने वाला, earth हिला देने वाला decision लिया. I would always keep that attractive smile on my face. कि मैं अपने मुंह पे हमेशा ये सुंदर सी smile रखूंगा. Another incident of humor कि मैंने एक और दुनिया हिला देने वाला decision लिया. दुनिया हिला देने वाला decision क्या होता है कि जिससे मतलब कि मैं एक बॉम्ब फोड़ दूंगा या मैं एक लीडर बन जाऊंगा, मैं एक नेता बन जाऊंगा, मैं पूरी दुनिया में बरसात कर दूंगा, ऐसा कुछ अर्थ शेकिंग डिसीजन होता है ना. बट हिज अर्थ शेकिंग डिसीजन, हिज दुनिया हिला देने वाला डिसीजन इज कि मैं हमेशा ऐसे ही हंसता रहूंगा. ओके, सो ही इज टॉकिंग कि मैं बहुत ग्रेट बात कर रहा है, लेकिन बात वो बिल्कुल नॉर्मल कर रहा है, बहुत सिंपल सी बात कर रहा है, कुछ दुनिया हिला देने वाला नहीं है उसकी स्माइल के अंदर. I was after all a bachelor and a doctor, too on the top of it. So he is now again saying, see, this line is repeating again and again. कि I was a bachelor and a doctor. तो मुझे handsome दिखना है. ये इतना मुझे attractive smile रखनी है. Why? एक तो मैं bachelor हूँ और ऊपर से doctor भी हूँ, तो मैं ये smile रखूंगा. Okay. Okay, children, let's stop the class here itself. Are you getting it or are you not getting it? You tell me. Are you facing any troubles? Are you having any doubt in the chapter today? Tell me. Anyone? Any kind of doubt? Okay, please, children, everyone, I want all of you to be here. All of you, turn on your cameras. I want to be here. जिन्होंने फिर से अपने cameras off कर लिए हैं, please on कर दीजिए. Okay, is anyone getting the humor which we are talking in the chapter? Is anyone getting that? Okay, Amni, I'm unmuting you, okay? Don't be afraid. I'm simply asking a question. I'm not asking any earth-shaking thing, okay? Yeah, tell me.
What?
Yes, Amni, I unmuted you. Are you getting the kind of
Yeah,
humor
ma'am.
which we are having in this chapter? देखो इस चैप्टर में इंसिडेंट तो बहुत
Yes.
छोटा सा है कि उसके कमरे में एक स्नेक आ गया, उसने मिरर में देखा, बात इतनी सी है. बट हाउ ही हैज टोल्ड स्टोरी, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. उसने कैसे स्टोरी को ह्यूमरस बना बना के लिखा है, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. कि मिरर में देख देख के वो ये सोच रहा है कि मेरी स्माइल बहुत अच्छी है.
Different.
In a strange way, yeah, in a strange way, okay. He is saying कि
It-
मेरी स्माइल कितनी अच्छी है, मैं शेव कर लूं तो बढ़िया हो जाऊंगा, मैं मुंह चुका लूं तो बढ़िया हो जाऊंगा. So he is having these foolish thoughts and that is all about this chapter. इस चैप्टर में यही आपके डिटेल्स जो हैं आपको देखनी है, आपको बार बार ढूंढनी पड़ेंगी कि क्या क्या है. ढूंढनी भी नहीं पड़ेगी, आप पढ़ते जाओगे तो इट सिंपली इट विल कम टू योर माइंड कि ये क्या बात कर रहा है, स्टूपिड बात कर रहा है, फुलिश बात कर रहा है. ओके. Piyush Verma is trying to enter the waiting room now. Dear, the class is going to end, so I will not let you admit. Okay. Okay, children, you have anyone is having any of the doubts? Please tell me. Yes, anyone, any doubt? Okay, I want all of you to be here. Please turn on your cameras. Divyansh Mogra, Jatin Jain, Aryan, Akshat, Nishan Soni, Anjali Vaishnav. जो नाश्ता करने गए हैं वापस आ जाइए please. All of you to be here. जिनके cameras off रहेंगे उनका attendance नहीं लगेगा. I'm telling you all. Okay. Akshita Dadish, Aditi Kothari, Akshat Dadish, Nishan Soni. Please turn on your cameras faster. Okay, do you have any doubt in today's class? Anyone can ask me. And okay, today's assignment question was, yeah, please note down this assignment question. I will be giving it to you on Scholars ERP, but please note down. Describe the surroundings in which the doctor is living. Okay, just note it down. Describe the surroundings in which the doctor is living. Okay, so complete this question as today's assignment and submit it to me on Scholars ERP. Okay, children, then that's all for today's lecture. We will meet in the next one. Also, you have to submit this question to me on Scholars ERP. That's all then. Thank you so much and bye-bye. We'll meet in the next one.